Welcome to the Couple-preneurs Show, helping couples in business develop structure and strategies that nurture the balance between business and home, bringing you interviews and insights to give you the secret sauce of power couples. Here are your hosts, Oscar and Kaya Frazier.
Couple-preneurs, entrepreneurs, people in business, people that are thinking about getting into business, folks that may be afraid to start a business. If any of those things sound remotely like you are absolutely in the right place. Today, I am so excited to have this conversation. I'm sure that Kaya is as well. A lot of this stuff is directly correlated to people in business that are looking at health options and ways to remain healthy. So I'm super excited to introduce our guest. But before I do that, let me turn it over to Kai. She can walk you through our sponsors and do her thing.
Sponsor time.
Thing with the A that time. You saw that, right? There we go.
Okay, so our sponsors today, Carolina Runners. They're a family-owned trucking company. Owner-operators that are looking for an authority, please check them out at carolina-runners.com. Again, that's carolina-runners.com. We also have Talk Shirt to Me. Shirts that speak and help you express your style. They've got all those cool slogan shirts and the sayings that you usually have in your head and don't get out. So check them out at talkshirttome.com.
You know, one of the shirts that I bought from Talk Shirt to Me, it says, "Been socially distanced."
Uh-huh.
You know, because I could be a bit of an introvert, so I love that brand. But nonetheless, I don't want to make this about the Talk Shirt to Me brand today. So let me give you all a quick backdrop of why this conversation hits especially home for Kaya and I. So, as most of you know, if the ones that have heard our story, in the end of 2014, we purchased a restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina called Blue Notes, and we did the live jazz, live blues, New Orleans style food there. But while we were there, we also kind of started a lot of really bad habits as it pertains to eating healthy. And most entrepreneurs can relate to this, that, you know, when you're up late and you're trying to build your next business plan or your next proposal, or you're trying to get a client deliverable executed, you may not be thinking about eating healthy, right? You may be trying to get the first thing you can grab that's going to give you the sugar rush or the carb rush, and you kind of keep on pushing. Well, the residuals of that led me to December of 2020, when I went to my doctor for a normal checkup. I thought it was going to be a normal checkup. I walked into the doctor's office. They did their blood work, and about 3 or 4 days later, I started getting all of my results back. And what I found out was my cholesterol was through the roof. Mm-hmm. My blood pressure, which I found out that day at the doctor's, was, it was probably like 170 something over 90 something, just totally through the roof.
Yeah, they were trying to see you through the hospital right then and there.
Yeah. And then and I was pre-diabetic, which I didn't know that until I went to the doctor in December of 2020. Now, fast forwarding to today, because that scared the you-know-what out of me and Kaya.
Yes.
And so we began our journey of, eating right based on our blood type. And, since that time, I've dropped almost 55 pounds. And all that stuff is all back to normal. So my blood pressure is normal now. Actually, it's below normal. So it's where it needs to be, right around 117 over 72, things like that. And then my as far as being pre-diabetic, I'm no longer pre-diabetic. And then with the cholesterol, that's now under the actual number that it needs to be as well.
You reversed everything. And
that was based on eating right.
Yeah.
Now, this was also in addition to while we were still building business and still having all of our businesses flowing. So it is possible. And so today we've got a very special guest, Kisha Morgan. So Kisha is the owner of Keto Coaching with Kisha, and we are absolutely excited to have you on the show today. Kisha, how's it going?
Hello, how are you guys? I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. Well, so our journey was not necessarily keto based, but
right.
We've heard so many wonderful things about that particular journey. So if you can, just walk us through, your background, how you got into the business that you're doing today, and what are some of the things that you're doing right now?
Okay, So I actually started keto back in March of 2018. So that was actually before it hit mainstream, before it was as popular as it is now. So when I first started, I didn't know anyone else who was actually doing it. I had actually had weight loss surgery first and gained just about all of my weight back.
Oh, wow.
So I had done every single diet or type of weight loss treatment there was on the planet, just about, even the most drastic one, which was weight loss surgery. And then, so I turned to keto. Now, I had started researching keto even before weight loss surgery, but just didn't believe it. I couldn't believe that people were actually losing that much weight that fast. So I turned to keto because I had been really still interested in studying it ever since I had first came upon it, probably back in 2015. So I turned to keto just to get the weight off that I had gained because, of course, I was embarrassed. I had did the most drastic thing, and here I am almost back at the size that I started from. So I started keto March 1st of 2018. And the more I learned, the more I realized that we have been told so many wrong things. And even after the weight came off, and it did come off pretty quickly. So I've done both. I've done the weight loss surgery and I've done keto. I'll tell you right now, I'll be the first to tell you, keto was a lot easier than weight loss surgery was.
Wow.
And then, too, I was able to learn so much more about my body and know exactly what was going on. And instead of turning to medications that only get rid of the symptoms of the illnesses, I started learning how to address illnesses at the root cause. And that way we can be healed. And once I started doing that and I just started posting, little things about it. And of course, I was posting pictures on Facebook. And even this was before it hit mainstream. And I had a couple of people who were asking me, hey, what are you doing? And I started teaching them, and it actually just flew from there. And so I always tell people that my career, I didn't find my career kind of found me. And it was growing so fast that within a year, I actually quit my full-time job and I started doing this full-time. So I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. That's awesome. And I'm a certified keto coach. I'm certified in holistic pain management. I'm certified in fasting. I work with medical professionals. I coach doctors. I work at a medical facility teaching their clients, their patients how to do this. I help cancer patients along with this. So it has really came to a whole different level. And everything that I do, we teach by holistic remedies or just by eating. 99.9% of the things or the chronic illnesses and diseases can be reversed just from eating alone. And I also might add that we, the group that I have, we've learned to do this while still eating good country soul food cookies.
Oh, wow.
We just learned to use different ingredients. It tastes just as good, a lot of it even better, but we still can have these things and they're definitely a healthier way.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, because a lot of people think that keto is like eating a whole lot of bacon and a whole lot of eggs, right? They see some of the advertisements and the promotions that are out there and they don't truly understand it, and they jump in and then they're eating all this meat and cheese and creams and stuff like that, thinking that is what keto is. Can you kind of break down for us what is the basis of keto?
Now, I see that all the time too. And when people come to me, what I usually say is, first of all, if you're going to get started, I usually suggest you either go through one of our programs or someone's program that actually is going to educate you on what you should be doing and why you are doing it. And also you need to be educated on making sure you are healthy at the cellular level, which I don't see a lot of people doing. So, and also when I see that, I'll tell them, yes, we can have bacon. Yes, I can have eggs. That doesn't mean I need to eat a pound of bacon a day. Because of course I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So the thing is, most of us, or most people in America, are actually glucose burners. We've been told that that's our body's preferred fuel source because it burns it first. Well, that's not necessarily correct. And there are actually more scientists and doctors who are coming on and saying that's not the case. Ketones is your body's, every cell in your body, every organ in your body burns ketones better than it burns glucose. So what we do is once you eliminate the carbohydrates from your diet, your body will automatically start producing ketones. Now, again, a lot of people are misinformed thinking that this is starvation mode, that it is unnatural for your body to be in ketosis. And I always say, well, that's not true. Every single person that is born is in a mild state of ketosis as soon as they're born. Breastfed babies remain in a mild state of ketosis because the mother's milk is mainly fat. So it is completely natural. And when we think about what we eat, our eating lifestyles more mimic the first people on earth, the way they ate. We eat vegetables, non-starchy vegetables. We eat fruits that aren't high in sugar, and we eat the meat. And yes, I've had people who will say, well, no, because they ate a lot of fruit back then. And I said, well, no, you can't compare that, because back then they only ate fruit during harvest time. They didn't have logistically available to them those high sugar fruits around the calendar year like we do now. So no, they only ate those things for a period of time, and that was it. We consume way more sugar than what they did. So there's really no comparison in the two.
Wow.
Makes sense.
You know, Kisha, you kind of bring me to another topic here that I think is right. It's a perfect segue, which is around, you know, whenever you do get your initial results or something from the doctor and they tell you that you're unhealthy, quote unquote. I'm using air quotes. You can't see me, right? But I'm, using the air quotes to say that you're quote unquote unhealthy.
Right.
What are some of the lies and misconceptions sometimes that we've been told by the medical and food industry around like weight loss and health? Do you have any feedback on that?
Oh, my goodness. I don't even think we have enough time. So one of the things I also realized was virtually just about every single thing we've been told about nutrition actually has been wrong. And even if you look at when the nutritional guidelines were released in the United States, that's when the obesity epidemic started. That's when heart disease and all those things start to rise. Even if you did the research behind it, all those things were actually political. The whole low-fat movement was all political. Everything was. And so it doesn't make any sense. And I'll tell you right now, one of the things I started thinking about as you were going through your story about high blood pressure, one of the things I tell people now, because they'll come to me often and they'll say, well, Kisha, I see what y'all eating, and I have high blood pressure, so I don't eat pork and I don't eat salt. And I look at them and I say, but you still have high blood pressure. It's not even rocket science. It doesn't make sense. That was never the root cause of your issue. It was always the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates causes your kidneys to hold on to the sodium. And then your fluid level increases, which increases your blood pressure. If you eliminate the root cause, which was the carbohydrates, you can continue to eat salt and pork and still come off high blood pressure meds. And you could actually do it pretty quickly.
Does this mean that I can now go to the store and buy me a slab of ribs and barbecue tonight?
Hey. No.
Now, that's only if you heard, you have to go back to what I said. I had to emphasize that you have to eliminate the root cause, which is the carbohydrate. But say what now?
I said, thank you for clearing that up.
But to elaborate on that, for the 4th of July, I actually did have smoked slab of ribs. I made my own barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce has way too much sugar in it. So I made my own barbecue sauce and smoked some lobster tails. That was my dinner for the 4th of July.
Mouth is watering.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, and yes, my lobster tails were actually loaded with butter too.
And Kisha, a lot of people have like these different food cravings and they have these different things that they just feel like they can't live without. Like as far as like the food addiction, is there like a commonality that almost everyone may have a certain food addiction that we maybe just we don't know anything about?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's definitely the issue. And I always tell people that was actually the turning point. And I actually coach from an addiction standpoint. And if you think you don't have a carb addiction, especially if you live in the United States, then you try getting off of it. You'll see exactly how carb addicted you are. I've been on this for 3.5 years now. I've been doing this, and I'm pretty strict. I've had one cheat meal in 3.5 years, and that was Easter 2018. And that was when I realized I was an addict, because by then I had been on keto for about 5 weeks and my cravings had gone away. So just like any other addiction, if you stay away from it, the cravings will go away. But if you continue to feed the addiction, then they never go away. So when I had that cheat meal, my cravings came back with a vengeance. And that's when I realized, you know what, you're an addict. And if you don't correct this, you're going to kill yourself with your fork. And so every day after that, I've used keto to help me not relapse on my addiction. Now, staying away, I don't have any cravings at all. So I'm 3.5 years out, and it's easy for me because I have zero cravings whatsoever. I don't crave sweets. I don't crave pastas anymore, any of that. And I was one of the worst carboholics ever. So I don't crave those things because I stopped feeding the addiction.
Yeah. Wow.
So as an entrepreneur, I know you have a busy schedule. You're coaching people. You're teaching them how to eat right and eat healthy and all this good information. What are some of the tips that you can give them for being consistent? Because I think that's one of the things that a lot of us run into.
Yeah, that whole permanent weight loss thing. Like, what's that key look like? Because, folks will try everything, get off of it.
Right, like I have. And so the key is you have to stop looking at things as a diet. So when people come to me and they're like, well, I keep falling off. Why do I keep falling off? And I keep saying that's because you keep looking at it as a diet instead of a lifestyle change. Diets do not work. That has already been proven. We've been on every single diet on the planet. So we know that they don't work. It has to be a lifestyle change, and you have to take a responsibility and you have to take accountability. Now, if we look at everything, especially when it comes to wealth, the health part is the center stone of that, because everything else is connected to that. How well you are directly influences everything you do. It influences your ability to operate. It influences your income. It influences how much you pay in insurance. It influences whether or not you can even do certain things because of your health. So it is definitely the center part of everything that's around us, but we haven't been taught that. And so we don't think of it in that way. And we also often don't even think about it until we respond to health issues, like when you went to doctors. So we're not thinking about it ahead of time to try to prevent anything. So that's definitely one of the things that I teach, to make sure that we understand that how I eat now will definitely determine my quality of life later. So if I want to live a long, vibrant life and be able to do so many things, even when my 60s and 70s and 80s, I'm going to make sure that I'm eating the correct things now in order to make that happen. Now, if I go out and continue to just destroy my temple and eat all these crazy things, then my quality of life later is definitely going to be impacted by that. So I teach that we can't continue to do that. The foods that we eat are either going to promote us being well and promote our healing, or it's going to be the slowest form of poison to send us to death. So you have to make a decision every time you eat, which one is it going to be? And the thing is, and the thing that we teach is, I can still have every single thing I want. I just prepare it differently using ingredients that are healthy for me, that still makes it taste good, but I'm not feeding my body the poison that I once was.
Yeah. Kisha, one thing that you mentioned within that I think is a great takeaway for entrepreneurs, couplepreneurs, and really anyone listening to this is going to be around the idea and the notion of a diet, right? And how it almost feel like it's like a chore, right? I mean, no one really wants to be told, I have to study, I have to go on a diet. Those have-tos tend to be things that are easily broken and easily not being consistently lived. So I love what you're saying, especially from the concept of it becomes a lifestyle change, right? When you're looking at life or death, because to your point, too many individuals find themselves in a war with food, right? And it's pretty much they're eating themselves to death, and it's scary. It really is.
And even, when you're talking about an entrepreneur, and so often I'll have clients who'll come to me, and of course, I've used myself every excuse in the book. So when they come to me, and the first thing that they tell me, either they travel a lot or they don't have a lot of time. And I look and I say, well, are you not eating? Because that's the only thing that I would see would hinder you. Because if you are eating and if you have time to eat, then that just comes down to what choices you're making.
Yeah.
So then it becomes a thing of, we've been using that excuse, and society has taught us that we need to have everything microwave and we need to have it right now. And we can forsake health in the instance that I need to have this right now, but it's actually just another excuse that we've told ourselves. And the crazy thing is, if I take the time to make sure that my body is taken care of, it saves so many things later on. I've been in this for 3.5 years. I have not been sick in 3.5 years. My allergies went away, even my fish allergy. I could not even be around fish, couldn't even be in the house when my mom was cooking it. I cook fish now. I actually ate some by accident a couple of months ago. My body had no reaction whatsoever because my immune system is just that good. Wow. I haven't even had a single cold in over 3 years, in 3.5 years. That saves me a lot of time because I don't have any downtime from being sick. That means I can be productive. Your brain actually functions better on ketones, so your cognitive functioning is just a lot better. So that means when I'm doing brainstorming sessions for my business, guess what? My collaborative efforts that I'm in with everybody else who is around the table who is on ketones, we have amazing power sessions because our brains are all being fed with ketones. And the last thing is our energy level is through the roof. Crazy amounts of energy. And when people know how much I work, a lot of times they be like, I don't know how you do it. I say, I'm being fueled by ketones. So that's the equivalent of you burning low octane gas and me burning jet fuel for fuel. So my body is running at optimum level because I'm making sure that I'm giving it the things that it needs in order to perform that way.
That is really an excellent story. Kisha, so if somebody wants to get started with you and your business, how can they go out and find you?
Actually on social media, Facebook and Instagram under Keto Coaching with Kisha. We have our website. I own a little shop here in Columbia called the Keto Boutique, where we sell keto-friendly treats and things. So they can actually Google the Keto Boutique and they'll find our website on there as well.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, again, thank you so much for jumping on this with us. We are super excited to get this out to the masses. I'm sure we'll be having you back on the show again soon. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
You've been listening to the Couple-preneurs Show. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.kothoughtleaders.com.